I'm in the bathroom and I'm smoking. Got the stem. The stem is the pipe for the crack and the bit. So there was nothing left in the pipe. Absolutely nothing. I hit it so much with the lighter, with the flick of the bic, that the glass pipe actually exploded. So what I'm holding in my hand is a piece of glass about an inch long with a point. It's very, very hot. My finger is burnt from holding the hot lighter. So here I am holding this little piece of glass, and I'm flicking, and I'm trying to get a hit. And all I'm doing is inhaling hot whatever. And the glass stem is so hot, it's stuck to my lip. My lip is burnt. It's burnt, right? I got a blister, and I'm going like this. My finger is burnt from the fire. My fingers are burnt from holding the hot glass. There's nothing in it. I can't get anything out of it. My heart is beating so fast, it felt like it was going to explode from the crack, because it makes your heart beat about 85 beats faster. I wrote a book, it's called The Cocaine Papers, where I get into the pharmacology, and depending on your weight, cocaine accelerates your heartbeat a certain amount of time. Like, for example, just throwing a number for an example, if your natural heartbeat is 85 beats per minute and you weigh X amount of pounds, then by taking cocaine, your heartbeat will go up to maybe 150 beats per minute. Whatever, I'm just throwing those numbers out. I don't remember correctly, but they're in the book that I wrote, which was never published, called The Cocaine Papers, what drug dealers don't tell you. So I'm hitting this stem. There's nothing in it. My lips are stuck to the pipe. I'm dry. There's no saliva in my mouth. I'm burnt here, I'm burnt here, I'm burnt here. I'm on my knees. I can't breathe. My heart is about to explode. And guess what? I'm still trying to get a hit. All I'm thinking is, I want another hit. And there's nothing in it. And I'm going like this. And I'm on my knees in the bathroom. And I'm shaking and I'm shaking. And I'm trying to inhale something from a pipe that's not in it, when in reality my lungs are begging for oxygen. That's what fucking drugs do. That's why I hate fucking drugs. And then the time that I stole, what was it? My mother's a TV or something. So then she says, "What did you do with it?" I said, "I sold it for drugs." So she says, "How much?" I said, $40. She gives me $40 to go buy it back from the drug dealer. I go in the building, and she's waiting outside the building. I go out the back, I buy more drugs with the $40 from the drug dealer. I go from the basement, I do the drugs, and then I'm down the block, about 6 buildings down, and I'm watching my mother standing in the wintertime in front of this building for hours and hours, waiting for me, her baby, her son, to come down with whatever it is that I stole. Maybe it was a TV or something. And what that did to me inside, it ate me up. I felt so guilty, I wanted to cry. But my brain, I just wanted more crack. Those are just some of the memories that I have. Not to count the times I've been shot at, chased with a knife, had people point guns in my face, shotguns at me. I remember one time I was shooting up in a rooftop, and the guy, his name was Julio, he comes up, he put on his sunglasses, like he was shy, he pumped the shotgun. He had, "I fucking told you, don't do this here, my mother is here." And he has a double barrel sort of shotgun pointed at me. I'm laughing now, but so I got the needle in my hand, and I'm booting. That's booting is when you make the blood go up and down. So I got the nerve to tell this guy, hold it. I'm almost finished. Let me finish. It's fucking funny, man. It's fucking funny. I remember once the white boys used to come from upstate, the rich to buy coke from the dealers. So this guy named Bones, since I was homeless, I used to sleep with a gun. We used to have different guns, and the guns had names. This gun's name was a 5-shot 38. We used to call it Bandit. So I said, let me Bandit. He said, there's a guy, there's a hockey player, just bought a whole, like an ounce of coke from Pablo, what's his name? Dominican drug dealer. So the guy comes down the stairs. I got Bandit in the paper bag, and when the guy comes down, I pull it out and I point it to his face. Now you can see the bullets in the chamber. So I say to him, give it to me. He's actually walking towards me, like trying to talk me out of it. So I said, listen, do you know what this is? He said, no, come to my car. I got something for you. Now in a flash of an instant, in my mind, I was in a hallway. I heard the echo of the bullet as if I would have fired it, but I did not fire it because I would not kill anybody for money. That was a different lifestyle. I'm talking about 1988, 87. I'm not like that now, but I step back and I let him walk away. So when I go to Bones, who was a thief in the neighborhood, but he was my friend. He used to look out for me. He used to like give me food, take me to his house to eat, and anyway. So he says, I would have shot him. And I said, I'm not gonna kill anybody for money. That's just one of the times. I've had guns in people's faces so many times, and I didn't pull the trigger. And I'm grateful because I would have been in jail forever if it wasn't for I call it the mercy of God. Some people don't believe in God, but I call it blessings. Like when guys, I'm sitting in front of a building and 2 guys come out of nowhere. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and as soon as they get close to me, they take out these knives. I never ran so fast. You know how a quarterback runs when he's playing football? I don't know what the hell, where I got that power from. I remember I used to sleep in basements, and I used to overhear conversations in the middle of the night of people that were upstairs hanging out in the corner. I used to overhear some stuff, and I remember Joey. Joey was the guy that turned the whole block on to crack. And them days we used to do ammonia. I wrote a poem about him. They found his body in a garbage bag. He played a game, it was not tagged. Joey always had a smile, but being sneaky was his style. What a shame, the way he died. Inside my mind, I hear his cries. This was murder, not a joke. They tortured him, they made him choke. Joey was a good-looking guy, man. 22 years old, smiling face, charming personality. Everybody liked Joey. But Joey had one thing. I myself was gonna wait for him in the hallway and beat the shit out of him with a bat, because he says to me, go to Adolfo and get a gram of coke on credit, I'll pay half. And he never did. So basically so in my mentality at that time, all drugged up, full of chemicals, that's what I'm glad I never went through with it. Coincidentally, his daughter also got murdered across the street from where he was murdered from a stray bullet. I'm talking about 134th Street in Amsterdam Avenue in Manhattan, and I'm a survivor from that, man. They used to call me Sammy Sam from Amsterdam. I used to have this thing where I would get in the middle of the street, take out my private parts, my balls, and shake them up and down, and hold the gun up in the air and say, I'm bulletproof, I'm bad, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I was twisted, man. That's what drugs do to you. And here I am, 58 years old, I'm in good health. I have a 7-foot cubic freezer full of food. I live in a private house. I have a lot of nice clothes. I have electronic gadgets. I have a very good job. I make good money. I'm a grandfather, and I've been sober since September 28th, 1988 at 8:30 p.m. I did it on my own. I'm not doing life in prison. So anyway, I'm just talking about that. I don't know. I'm making a YouTube channel. Just a thought I had. I don't want to let that stuff go to waste. I have a book I wrote called Crack Street, Victim Lane. It's poems that I actually wrote as a crack kid, and then I do some cartoons, illustrations to match each poem. I think it's good stuff. I have the original manuscript, the original sketches. I don't know. Okay, here's just another video, excuse me, to add to the page.